everyone, you're watching the daily Forex Outlook by Light Forex. From this video, you will discover the prospects for the main currency pairs. As you can see from the weekly chart of the US dollar index, American currency depreciated last week as the central bank, the Federal Reserve, signaled that it could soon cut interest rates. Although traders priced in rate cuts in America this year, still the Federal Reserve sounded more dovish than expected. Everyone just got on that train of weaker USD, and we can see that on the weekly chart the American currency closed below the 50-week moving average. That opens the way for further downside. It is necessary to point out that the USD weakened both versus the refuge currencies like the Japanese yen and the Swiss franc, and the commodity currencies like the Australian, the New Zealand and the Canadian dollar. The USD also suffered last week versus the euro and the British pound. Stocks went to record highs, oil and gold soared, and as a result, every asset benefited while the USD went down. This is a rare situation we observe at the market when everything is just so very positive while the USD is negative. So the further movement will surely depend on further commands of the Fed's chair Jerome Powell. We'll hear from him on Tuesday, and the economic data which will be out in the United States this week. Let's have a look at the economic calendar at lightforex.com to see which data we are talking about here. And as for Monday, the data front was rather light. Only during the Asian session there were comments of the Reserve Bank of Australia's Governor Lowe, and he said that the effectiveness of global monetary policy easing to boost economic growth is under question, and that helped the Australian dollar to strengthen. In addition, there were some data from Germany which came in line with forecast and supported the euro. On Tuesday, June 25th, have a look at New Zealand's trade balance figures and US CB consumer confidence data. Also, this is the day when we will hear from Fed's Williams and Powell, so the USD will likely move. On Wednesday, there will be a meeting of the Reserve Bank of New Zealand. The central bank is expected to keep rates unchanged. Further rate cuts this year are already priced in, so there is possibility that the Reserve Bank of New Zealand will be less dovish than expected. That might help the New Zealand's currency versus the USD. In addition, on Wednesday there will be inflation reports hearings in the United Kingdom, and the Bank of England's Governor Mark Carney will comment about inflation. And America will release core durable goods orders and durable goods orders. The forecasts are mixed. The indicator does have a big impact on the USD. On Thursday, there will be release of Japanese retail sales. And for New Zealand dollar, watch ANZ business confidence indicator. In addition, America will publish the final GDP growth readings for the first quarter. And on Friday, there will be the G20 summit in Japan. So during the day, we will be prepared to get a lot of commands. In addition, Britain will release current account figures and final GDP reading. And Europe will release flash CPI, the indicator of inflation, which will have an impact on the euro. Canada will publish GDP growth figures, and the United States will release core PCE price index, important measure of inflation, personal spending, and Chicago PMI index. So these are the major events of the week, and apart from economic indicators in the economic calendar, traders will monitor geopolitical events like tensions between Iran and the United States, and the relations between the United States and China that do have impact on global economic growth, as it is the most important question for global trade. Let's return to the price charts in MetaTrader and have a look at the chart of the US dollar versus the Chinese yuan. Trading will likely be rather active this week ahead of the G20 summit, and we can see that last week the currency pair managed to test support in the area of 684. Then there was a turnaround to the upside from that level. Resistance is located at 6.8967. Advance above this level will open the way up to 6.96. All in all, if China and the United States are able to find a compromise, then the currency pair will decline and test levels below 684. If the news from G20 summit are bad, then we will likely test levels above 696 level. Euro dollar made an advance last week on the weaker USD, and you can see that on the weekly chart the currency pair managed to close above 200-week moving average at 1.1345 and is now testing 50 period moving average at 1.1387 mark. Daily chart shows us that there will be some resistance in the area of 1.14 and 1.1420. The advance of the euro surely was rather abrupt, and corrections to the downside are possible. Corrections will likely meet support in the area of 1.1350, and only below that level, if we see a daily close, we will look for a deeper correction to 1.1260. On the upside, further resistance levels will lie at 1.1450 and 1.1515. Markets will be awaiting the speech of Powell, the releases of data in the United States, as the main cue for the dynamics of the pair. The British pound managed to rise as well, but once again it stopped as it approached the area of 1.2770. So only a close above this level will let the pound test higher levels, like the 50-day moving average at 1.2812 and Fibonacci level at 1.2885, together with moving averages that are a bit higher. All in all, despite the increase and the positive reaction of the market to the Bank of England's meeting, still it is necessary to remember about the risks related to Brexit, the risks which are related to the fact that Boris Johnson is the top contender for the position of the UK Prime Minister, and he is in favor of no-deal Brexit. So that, of course, will make it more difficult for the British pound to get higher. Dollar yen found support around 107 and is trying to recover. Recovery is possible towards 107.70 and higher to the 108 area, but the pair is surely in a downtrend as long as it stays below 108.55 mark, and the decline below 107 will open the way down to 106.40 level. US dollar Canadian dollar found some support in the area of 1.3150. Any attempts of the pair to recover will likely meet substantial resistance On the chart, it is the level of 1.3280 and 1.3365. So we think that the Canadian dollar, supported by the increase in oil, will pull the pair down towards 1.3125 and 1.3070. Australian dollar rose during the past days and came to the resistance line in the area of 0.6960 level. So a further resistance is at the key level of 0.70, and then we will get resistance around 0.7050. So that levels may attract the Australian dollar, but 0.7050 will likely be the ceiling for the pair. If the USD manages to fight back and to return below the level of 0.6930, then the correction down will bring us to 0.69 with potential of the decline to 0.6870 area. The New Zealand dollar awaits the decision and commands from the Reserve Bank of New Zealand. We can see that resistance is rather close to the current point at 0.6630. But if the central bank is less dovish than expected, the advance to 0.67 will be rather possible. So the resistance won't be as hard as we could have said looking at the chart. If, however, the Reserve Bank is negative and underlines the risks, then the decline below 0.6585 will open the way down to 0.6550 and 0.65 mark. Gold made a big advance versus the US dollar during the previous week, and we can see from the weekly chart that indeed the price managed to close above the levels which limited the upside for a significant period of time. The advance to 1420 and 1430 is very likely given the fact that gold retains momentum. But if we get below 1400 level, the correction to the downside will take the price to 1375. Finally, oil is on the upside because of the geopolitical tensions. Watch resistance around 66.50 mark. The advance of this level will bring the price to the next level around 68.30 and probably even 69. Support is located at 64. Thank you for your attention and trade with Light Forex.